Vamos a proceder a hablar de otro tema totalmente vinculado con lo que hemos estado hablando, ¿no? La necesidad de esa implementación y de eficientizar procesos. Cuando yo escuchaba a Yeulis hablar de más de 25 artículos en la ley, para dar los pasos para la integración de cualquier proyecto de energía renovable, tú dices, bueno, y no se trata de no regular de manera adecuada, pero se puede ser eficiente y a la vez intentar disminuir esos procesos de forma tal que podamos integrarnos mucho más rápido a lo que está ocurriendo en el mundo, ¿no? Entonces, tal vez podemos hacer esos procesos más eficientes sin dejar de ser rigurosos. En esta ocasión vamos a hablar precisamente de eficiencia energética. Nuestro especialista está trabajando en esta área desde los 80, desde el principio de los 80. Ha trabajado en más de 38 países del mundo, precisamente abordando proyectos en materia energética. En la actualidad es un asociado senior de Econoler, que es una firma consultora que se dedica al diseño, a la implementación, a la evaluación de proyectos y de programas de eficiencia energética y de energía renovable. Con la conferencia El rol de la eficiencia energética dentro de una economía baja en carbono, recibamos al señor Tom Hamlin.
Okay. Thanks very much for the introduction and for inviting me to speak here. As you can see, I'm with an agency called Econoler, and we're based in Canada. We do a lot of work around the world. So I'm the lead team leader on this project. It's funded by TAPSEC, the GIZ, and coordinated with CARICOM. And can you hear me? Okay. This is to develop a regional energy efficiency sub-policy and strategy and action plan for submission to the Council for all CARICOM member countries. It's a sub-document to the CSERMs, and so we've done the analysis over the period of 2013 to 2027 so as to see what actions have already taken place and what can be accelerated through to the end of that period. The methodology then is to develop a projected baseline on energy use, so this is across all sectors, and we are calibrating against either OLADE or the International or Inter-American Development Bank data to calibrate that baseline. And then we perform projections out to 2027 using economic growth rates, population growth rates, and other trends to see what the energy demand will look like out to that period. Then we define the energy efficiency potential and priority sectors. And the energy efficiency calculations you'll see are mainly from bottom-up studies. And then this all goes into a regional energy efficiency action plan. We're using LEAP. It's quite a challenging piece of software. You basically have to program the whole economy into it and then see how the stock turns over in order to get the results. And we have 4 scenarios. One is business as usual. This is mainly conventional fossil fuel power in most countries, and we do an energy efficiency on that. And then as well, we do a high renewable energy penetration into the grid and look at energy efficiency and renewables together over that same period. So 4 scenarios. As I said, we're using sectoral growth and whatnot to project the baseline out. And then on the bottom-up approach, we're looking for as much calibrated audits, not just sort of estimates using models, but also bottom-up studies where we get higher confidence on what's actually possible. We try to establish the optimum net present value and then use that in the energy efficiency potential as it's phased in. And again, renewable energy as well. This is the Sustainable Energy for Eastern Caribbean energy efficiency potential that we received from the Caribbean Development Bank. In Grenada, the EE potential was about 23.7%. The auditor in that country was a little less aggressive than the other two countries, and you can see that St. Vincent and Grenadines and St. Kitts and Nevis have higher energy efficiency potential with slightly longer simple paybacks, but still very short relative to renewable energy investments. These are all clear winners in terms of energy investments. And we're hoping to add some additional bottom-up data to broaden it out over other countries. So any of you that might have some data, and especially any CARICOM members that are here that I haven't met with yet, be pleased to talk with you about the project. So this is the example of the residential sector. We're looking at refrigeration, fans, air conditioning, and lighting. So these are the electrical uses. And you can see that in the early part from 2013 to the present, we have very little going on. We have a growth that's continuing up. And then we look at a fairly aggressive program to implement the energy efficiency measures. And you can see, is there a light on here? No? You can see lighting, the red one at the bottom, is quite a fast turnover in the lighting due to the life of CFLs and incandescents. Whereas, so it moves over towards a higher penetration of LEDs fairly quickly. Whereas in the other products, you have a typical 12 to 15 year lifetime for the appliance. So during the remaining 8 years, we can only replace a certain amount, assuming that turnover in the building, in the appliances. Here we have street lighting. Street lighting is going to LEDs. The costs have come down, and we see that in a lot of countries, even Trinidad and Tobago, which has relatively low electricity costs. And you can see that the red part is where the LEDs are phased in. So in this case, we're hitting 100% of the street lights within a few years. And the conventional ones, either mercury vapor or high pressure sodium, are being phased out. So that's an illustration of how the model works. And what would happen in the case of refrigerators is that the energy efficient option would not have phased into 100% of the stock yet by 2027. There's still about half of the equipment is going to last beyond the 2027, according to our model. This is then looking at the high renewable energy integration for Grenada. And the largest portion is the dark green bars here, where you see geothermal coming on. And the others are the large gray bars are the conventional fossil fuel generation. And what's of interest here is that with this scenario is that the energy efficiency is able to save quite a large amount of the demand, while the renewable energy, as it comes in, you obviously have a collision. And basically, you have to move to the kind of grid studies and energy storage and whatnot in order to manage that. And in this case, especially with geothermal that's available at night, we've done a run with electric vehicles, quite a high penetration of electric vehicles, and that results in a higher demand towards the end of the cycle. So these are preliminary results. We're still in a process of consulting with the countries involved, and so these are preliminary results, but you can see typically it's about 15% on average is the energy efficiency potential we're seeing, keeping in mind that we really only have 8 years to phase in the measures, and they would be only about half complete in terms of stock turnover. So these potentials are only for that defined period, and it ranges from 8% to 25%, depending on the country. Okay, so I think we'll be able to open up to questions. And yeah, I know. I think originally we had 2 speakers for this session. Okay. And so I only had 12 slides. Okay. But
Uno, dos. Ahora sí. Tom, you were quicker than what I thought.
Well, okay. Everyone's hungry.
You're hungry? No, I think that it's better because we will have more time for the questions, sure. ¿No? For the Q&A. Señores, preguntas para el señor Tom Hamlin. Ahora no me digan que ustedes también tienen hambre y que no tienen espacio para las inquietudes. ¿Quién se anima? Un público tan animado. A ver, ¿no tenemos preguntas? ¿Ninguna pregunta? Estoy sorprendida. Acá. Siempre con alguien que se anima. Por acá, por favor, a nuestro equipo de asistencia.
Bien, buen día. Alexander Vallejo. Mi pregunta va sobre los países que han desarrollado proyectos de eficiencia energética. ¿Qué incidencia usted considera que ha tenido que ver la parte social o cultural de esos países? Si alguna relación con el Producto Interno Bruto, con el nivel de educación, puede correlacionar alguna de esas variables con obtener buenos índices de eficiencia energética a nivel general. Gracias.
Okay, we haven't specifically studied the social side. We're more based on statistics in terms of what's happening in the countries. But yeah, in the Caribbean we do see quite a wide range from Haiti which has very low electrification rate and very heavy reliance on biomass, and the very high demand for energy services ultimately, but how do you phase that in is something we're still struggling with a bit, and we'll be going into consultation with Haiti on that. At the other end of the spectrum, we have Trinidad, Tobago, and Suriname, which the energy tariffs are very good for industry and social. I mean, Trinidad has one of the highest energy consumptions per capita in the world, and so there we have the opposite problem, that they need to reform the electricity sector in order to bring the full cost of energy into the tariffs, so that consumers can make the right choices in terms of energy use. So, yeah, I mean, we do take into consideration the population growth and the I think the energy efficiency is always a positive for even the poorer groups, the people that can't afford energy. unfortunately, they pay among the highest prices for energy. The price per kilowatt hour from a battery or from any energy source like that is much higher than the grid. So it's the poor that are paying a very high price for electricity or energy services. So I'm not sure I hit exactly what you were looking for, but hope that helps.
¿Alguna otra inquietud? ¿Qué tan...
Okay.
¿Qué tan cerca estamos de lograr un 100% de eficiencia energética con la energía renovable en países subdesarrollados como el nuestro? ¿De cuánto es la brecha? ¿Cuántos años podríamos hablar?
So the question is the degree to which energy efficiency...
in the development countries like ours, no? How many years we will get like this 100% of efficiency?
Okay, depending on the equipment, the turnover rate in the stock it can be as short as a few years for lighting, for instance. Otherwise, it's more likely to be on the order of 10 to 15 years to bring in the energy efficient product. As well, there's policy setting, which, this study will go to CARICOM and then be discussed and ultimately has to be implemented in terms of energy efficiency standards and programs and finance in each country by country. So there's quite a long lead time in the policy side as well. Things like buildings last 25, 30 years. So you see a much slower turnover in that case. And there are things that go into a building at the design stage that will last the whole life of the building. So it's orientation, shading, all those kinds of things are relatively slow to turn over. And so I think it's something we need to start early and make it a priority. And certainly energy efficiency, as you've seen, is always much more cost effective than the renewable energy side. So tackling the demand side is very important.
Muchísimas gracias al señor Tom Hamlin, especialista de Econoler. Gracias.